Just as soon as Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was released on DVD, and we thought we would have time to digest it all, the trailer for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, dropped, and the Star Wars community again started looking forward to what is to come. Along with that teaser, April gave us a lot of material to build up the canon leading us into Episode 7, which has not seen much growth over the last couple of months. Let us take a look at what came out and its place in the timeline as we explore the additions to the Star Wars canon, April 2016. There have been 7, or 8 depending on how you look at it, separate entries into the canon this month across a variety of formats. The printed copy of Landry Q. Walker's Tales from a Galaxy Far, Far Away, Aliens, Part 1, was released this month with 2 previously unreleased stories, True Love, featuring Unkar Plutt, and A Recipe for Death, featuring the cook at Maz Kanata's castle. Marvel's new ongoing series Poe Dameron came out with issue number 1, Black Squadron, Part 1, Marvel's Darth Vader, issue 19, Part 4 of the Shutoran War Arc, the long-awaited one-shot Marvel's C-3PO, The Phantom Limb, Marvel's Obi-Wan and Anakin, issue number 4, the short story Scorched by Delilah S. Dawson, found in Star Wars Insider number 165, and finally, Marvel's Star Wars, issue number 18, Part 3 of the Rebel Jail Arc. Now let us take a brief look at where each of these stories fits in with the Star Wars canon timeline. Beginning to wrap up their story on Cornelia 4, Obi-Wan and Anakin, issue number 4, continues to fill in this massive canonical gap between Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and 2, Attack of the Clones. The time between Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and 3, Revenge of the Sith, saw no contributions this month. It continues to be an era of rich possibilities, with so many characters whose stories are still yet to tell. One has to wonder what may come out of this era in the future. Last month, I mentioned that I was reevaluating the look of this post-Revenge of the Sith, pre-Star Wars Rebels section of this timeline. Here is my restructure of these stories, and here's why I did this. As the number of stories continue to increase, we are starting to see some distinct trends, themes, paths, and characters that we can latch onto which provide us a better framework for discussing these stories. This first section following Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, we have the stories that fall into the Rise of the Empire section, John Jackson Miller's orientation from Star Wars Insider 157, Paul S. Kemp's novel Lords of the Sith, the Rise of the Empire story collection beginning with Melissa Scott's short story Mercy Mission, James Luceno's novel Tarkin, John Jackson Miller's short story Bottleneck, and his novel A New Dawn. With the inclusion of Kanan and Hera in this last book, we have an easy bridge into the era of Star Wars Rebels with the children's novel Edge of the Galaxy, serving as a prequel of sorts. We can also tie in Marvel's Kanan, The Last Padawan, which allows us to connect the larger story of Kanan to the Rebels saga. Removed from these stories is the short story The End of History by Alexander Freed, which has somewhat of a vague time placement in this era. The 2 Obi-Wan-centered comics in Marvel's Star Wars series are also unrelated to the other stories in this era, and may, as they continue to develop Obi-Wan's backstory, connect directly to A New Hope, without much to do with the Rebels stories at all, similar to the way Lost Stars continues beyond one single point in time. After the conclusion of Star Wars Rebels last month, this era goes untouched for now, but we know more stories are in store for the future and beyond. The content-rich time frame between Episode 4, A New Hope, and 5, The Empire Strikes Back, surprisingly got little development this month, just one issue of Star Wars and Darth Vader continuing their current story arcs. Again, nothing new here between 5 and 6. The era between Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and 7, The Force Awakens, saw a movement this month, movement which is gaining momentum in the coming months as well. With this, and the knowledge of future titles to come, for now, we will be splitting this section as Star Wars Aftermath. No material was added pre-Aftermath. Post-Aftermath, to add to our existing collection of Alien short stories and the short stories of our main characters collected in Before the Awakening, we add the 2 new short stories in Landry Q. Walker's collection, Tales of a Galaxy Far, Far Away, Aliens, Part 1. Also new this month is Scorched by Delilah S. Dawson, a direct tie-in to the upcoming novel by Claudia Gray, Bloodlines. We also add the long-awaited one-shot, C-3PO, The Phantom Limb, where we finally discover how C-3PO got that red arm. With great excitement, we're happy to add Marvel's Poe Dameron to our timeline. While we will miss the Kanan series, Poe is an exciting character, and it would be great to see him in action. The multiple lines here may be a bit confusing. Note that Before the Awakening contains 3 stories, while Rey's and Finn's takes place quite close to the film. Poe's story is about his recruitment into the Resistance, which, given the content of this comic, has a greater gap than the other stories between it and Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We are looking forward to continuation of this comic series and the release of Bloodlines next month, and we will continue to update this timeline as the canon develops. That concludes this update for April 2016, and as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to keep up with all the insight and analysis found here at Star Wars: The Canon Explained. You can also follow us on Twitter or visit us on Facebook. Till next time, may the Force be with you.